This video dives into a truth most men never discover. A man's words can quietly shape attraction, not with cheesy lines, not with desperate flattery, but through psychological compliments that touch a woman's mind, her emotions, and her memory. From the very beginning, you challenge the viewer with a simple question. If one sentence could make her heart race and remember you forever, why waste your breath on weak lines like, "You're hot," or "Nice dress"? Right away, you shift his entire understanding of attraction. Most men think it's about looks, money, or status, but you reveal something different. The real difference is how you make her feel. And then you introduce the weapon almost no man uses correctly. A well-placed, emotionally intelligent compliment. You explain that while most men throw out generic praise, the rare man who uses deep, intentional words sets himself apart from every guy cluttering her DMs. He becomes unforgettable, not because he's louder, but because he sees her differently and makes her feel differently. Throughout your breakdown, you weave three pillars: the psychology of attraction, the quiet strength of stoic masculinity, and language that lands with precision and depth. Then, you break down 8 psychological compliments. 8 compliments designed to bypass her defenses, slip past her logic, and speak directly to the parts of her she rarely shows. Number 1. Why most compliments fail. Before the list begins, you reveal the hard truth. Most men fail because they use the same lines over and over again. "You look cute," "You're pretty," "You're hot." These men believe they're building attraction, but the truth? They're just becoming forgettable. You draw a sharp contrast. Generic compliments make you blend in. Deep, specific compliments make her feel seen. You bring in stoicism to drive it home. A stoic man speaks with intention, doesn't talk to fill space, doesn't compliment for approval, and understands that every word has weight. You make it clear, this isn't about lines, this is about emotional precision. Compliment number 1. That fragrance you're wearing is addictive. You start with fragrance, something most men never even notice. You explain that scent is tied directly to memory and emotion. A single smell can take you back to a moment, a night, a person. So, when you notice her fragrance, you're not saying you smell nice, you're really saying your presence stays with me even when you're gone. It's intimate, it's subtle, it's powerful without being sexual. You compare this with weak compliments like, "Your dress is cute," and explain that noticing her scent shows presence, depth, and sensitivity to detail. And then the stoic part. A man who speaks few words, but every one of them hits. When he says it slowly, calmly, with certainty, and that changes everything. Compliment number 2. Your smile could brighten up an entire room. You go deeper than nice smile. You reveal that her smile isn't just physical. It's an energy, a shift in the atmosphere. You describe a heavy room, tension in the air, and then someone walks in with a real smile, and suddenly everything feels lighter. That's not charm, that's influence. You compare this with average man who compliments her looks. A stoic, observant man compliments her effect on the world. When he says, "You light up a room with your smile," he's really saying, "Your presence changes things," and that stays with her. Compliment number 3. I love how real you are. Here, you shift to authenticity. You describe a world full of masks, not just online, but everywhere. People pretending, performing, hiding. A woman chooses to be real. That's rare, and it's powerful. Telling her I love how real you are isn't about being cute. It's acknowledging her courage, her honesty, her refusal to blend in. You remind the listener, authenticity isn't always neat. It's not always polished, but it's always real. And a stoic man respects that. This compliment says, I see who you are behind the mask, and that's who I admire. Compliment number 4. I love the way you see the world. Now you target her mind, the part of her most men ignore.
You explained that most people live on autopilot, repeating opinions without thinking. But every now and then, you meet someone who thinks differently. Someone whose perspective is refreshing, meaningful, alive. When you say, "The way you see the world inspires me," you're telling her, her thoughts matter. Her perspective has value. Her mind stimulates yours. This is intimacy without touching. And it creates a bond deeper than appearance ever could.
Compliment number 5. I love your energy. It makes me want to be better. You highlight energy, the invisible force that defines how someone makes us feel. Some people drain us. Some people lift us. And when a woman inspires growth, discipline, drive, that's rare. Telling her, "Your energy makes me want to be better," is one of the highest compliments you can give. It says, "You don't just attract me, you elevate me." And that lands deeper than appearance ever will. Compliment number 6. You're one of the most thoughtful people I've ever met. Now you focus on character. You describe a world full of performative kindness, people acting good for attention. But thoughtfulness, real thoughtfulness, is rare. You highlight what you're really seeing in her. The details she remembers, the way she shows up, how she makes others feel valued. This compliment hits her heart, not her ego. You connect it to stoicism again. Virtue versus vanity, character versus charm. This compliment says, "I see your goodness, and I respect it." Compliment number 7. I love how driven you are. Your purpose inspires me. Here you honor her ambition, something society often tells women to tone down. You explain that driven people are rare in a world of excuses. And when someone has purpose, it shows. When you say, "Your purpose inspires me," you acknowledge her discipline, her sacrifices, her hunger for more. This is not a compliment on effort. This is a compliment on identity. It touches her story, not just her appearance. Compliment number 8. You make people feel truly valued. This final compliment targets emotional intelligence, one of the most magnetic traits a person can have. Some people demand attention, but a rare few create connection. You point out that she makes others feel safe, hears what's not being said, and brings warmth into cold spaces. When you say, "Your presence is healing," you speak to a part of her almost no one ever acknowledges. And that's why this compliment is unforgettable. The final message. You close the video with clarity. These 8 compliments aren't tricks. They're not lines. They're bridges. Bridges to deeper connection. Bridges to respect. Bridges to emotional and psychological attraction. You end with a truth that echoes long after the video ends. A woman might forget what you said, but she will never forget how you made her feel. Then you push the viewer forward. Click the next video. No woman can ignore these 7 good morning texts.